came back from a fall masquerade gala with the Equipment Connections for Children, and it's a beautiful organization that I just found out about. They help children that are disabled be connected with medical equipment to help boost their quality of life, or in the event that, they're waiting on insurance companies to be able to provide them with the proper medical equipment. And so, of course, prior to me leaving and getting everything out the door, I left my makeup stand an entire mess, and I thought I'd just get on really quick and just make a short video talking about none other than estate planning, of course, and just say some random things, some random facts about estate planning that you may not think about, but it's my job to think about it. And so since it's my job to think about it, why not let's talk about it? I like to say, as an estate planning attorney, that if you has ownership of anything, whether that's a car, a house, or a bunch of paraphernalia that is either worth a lot or worth a little, but still it's something that you own and that it belongs to you, that is an estate. Therefore, if you have an estate, you need a plan for it, because if you don't have a plan for it, I like to tell people all the time, we all have estate plans. It's just whether or not we took part in planning our estate, or the state of Maryland, just using that as an example because that's where we are, or the state of Maryland has put together an estate plan for you. And the way the family dynamics, or even just life in general, is now, it's not as cookie cutter as it used to be. Therefore, the rules of intestacy may not properly reflect what you believe are your values. So for that reason, I like to let people know, don't take a chance on using the default estate plan that Maryland has set out for you, but rather doing something as simple, whether it's trust-based planning or will-based planning. There are lots of different scenarios and different ways that a person can draft an estate plan that is uniquely crafted towards them. It doesn't necessarily have to be all of this information that's floating around the internet talking about you need a trust, you need a trust, you need a trust. Some people do need trusts. Individuals that have minor children, I believe, need trust. Children with disabilities, I do believe, need trust. Elder individuals who wanting to balance Medicare and Medicaid planning down the line possibly need trusts. Some individuals can benefit off of estate planning by using will-based estate planning. So when we say trust-based and we say will-based, these are two different types of estate planning documents, but they still are legally accepted as your own personal plan that you have set for yourself, and is legally binding, of course, if it's drafted correctly and there's no sort of foul play, fraudulent actions, or undue influence going on. These are legally binding documents. Therefore, if you want to partake in will-based estate planning, that's definitely something good for people with smaller estates or people with not complex family dynamics. And when I mean by complex family dynamics, I mean something as simple as, your nuclear family where your family members get along, or this is your first and your last marriage. There are no stepchildren, there are no adopted children, there are no children outside of the marriage, there are no minor children. And some people still have this family dynamic. I know it was much more common back then, but a lot of people have kind of moved on from this family dynamic, but a lot of people on the other side still do have this family dynamic. So for individuals who have smaller estates, they have a simpler family dynamic, or they know their family members get along to the point that they can trust, they can leave their things in a will and it won't be contested, or there's no foul play going on. These individuals can 100% benefit from will-based planning, especially if you have a lot of non-probate assets in your estate. And what I mean by non-probate assets, things that won't have to go through the court process, or things that pass by operation of law. Things like insurance forms, because those are going to pass by beneficiary designations. You have already assigned the person that's going to take from this account in the event that something happens to you. Like, this is just an example of not having to go through the probate process. So for people that have, accounts that have beneficiary designations, or they have property that is going to pass by operation of law via a joint tenancy by the right of survivorship, or tenancy by the entirety that is saved specifically for married couples, these are individuals that may actually just, be able to benefit from will-based planning, because their probate process won't be as complex as someone who may have a minor child. Here in the state of Maryland, children under the age of 18 can't contract. What's going to happen if something happens to you as the parent and you have these lump sum assets that have to go somewhere? Obviously, this child can't, hold this property, so now you have to go through the guardianship process if you've not assigned a guardian to your child, and that is sometimes a lengthy process. And even worse, what if the guardian ends up being an individual that you wouldn't want your child to take care of because they don't share the same values as you? So these are all things to think about. So that individual may actually benefit more from a trust-based plan to be able to divvy up those assets for the child in different wavelengths. Instead of the child inheriting it all in one lump sum, if it's held in a trust, it can be take out by the age of 21, take out by the age of 25, take out by the age of 30, and these assets are going to be used for the health, education, maintenance, and support of the child. That's a good reason to set up a trust. Parents that have children with special needs, disabilities, this is a great reason to set up a trust. If the child inherits either a lump sum of money, or the child wants to ensure that they stay with the ability to get government benefits, things like that, setting up trusts for them, but also setting up their care. People who have pets, people who want to figure out or want to ensure that their animals are still taken care of, like things like pet trusts. As crazy as it sounds, but there's a trust for that. So there are lots of different situations where an individual may 100% benefit off of setting up will-based planning or setting up trust-based planning, incapacity planning. That's another reason why someone may want to set up a trust, or people just may want privacy. Some people don't know that the probate process for wills is actually a public process. Granted, some states you have to pay to be able to access different things, but you may have to pay $2 or fee to be able to access that document. But if someone's willing to pay, they can see if this person had a will, or if they didn't have a will, who the beneficiaries were. And some families, even if they have smaller estates, I don't think I'm really into that. I don't think I really want that. Like, the more you know, for sure. And also, this video is 100%, like I said, very random, and I'm just having a late night, my time right now. It is 11:20 and I'm just cleaning up my desk, or I guess lack thereof, since I've been talking in the camera, but it's kind of all over the place. But just some things to think about. If you have something that you own, or you have a child, a minor child, or adult child, an adult child with special needs, or you have older parents that may want to take advantage of this Medicaid planning in the future for how they're going to have, long-term care and a lifetime, honestly, of caring for, family members. You may want to think about trust-based planning, but this is stuff that kind of gets the conversation going and flowing. So long as we're continuously talking about it, and I'm so glad that this is becoming a normalized topic that a lot of people are talking about. So long as we keep the conversations going, I am happy to keep talking about it, because one, it's my job to talk about it, but two, we definitely have to do better about normalizing what we do for those coming behind us. And I believe that estate planning is one of the highest forms of love that you can show for not only yourself, but your loved ones and the people that are coming behind you. Usually when these documents are activated, they're activated in some sort of tragedy, and you don't want to also have to worry about, making decisions like, what would this person want me to do during this time? Just something to keep talking about. If you have any questions, or if you'd like me to talk about a certain topic, definitely leave a comment below. But if you're ready to get started with your estate planning, please contact my office. I can be reached on my website at www.leahbostonlaw.com, and I'm happy to help get you started.